Tinubu intervenes in Rivers political crisis between Fubara and Wike. Hello and welcome back to Gist Angle, your
It's
hub for hot
just
gist and
angle.
verified news updates. My people, finally, President Bola Tinubu is reported to have stepped into the escalating clash between Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. According to sources, Tinubu has summoned Wike for a meeting abroad, possibly in Dubai or France, to address the Rivers crisis and curb a fresh impeachment attempt against Fubara. Fubara reportedly flew out on a private jet, intending to meet the president in France. A source close to Tinubu described Wike's actions as disrespectful to the president and potentially destabilizing, warning it could incite unrest among Ijaw youths. APC leaders have expressed concern over Wike's actions, saying they undermine Fubara, the party, and national interest. Meanwhile, Rivers State lawmakers loyal to Wike have initiated impeachment proceedings against Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu few days ago, citing alleged misconduct including unauthorized spending and defiance of court rulings. Wike's allies deny his involvement in the impeachment, stressing his support for the president. Political analysts and former governors have called for dialogue and prayers, warning that Fubara's political survival depends on careful management of relationships. Wike, on his part, continues to rally local leaders under a rainbow coalition to support Tinubu in 2027. The crisis echoes earlier tensions that led to a state of emergency in Rivers in March 2025, which Tinubu mediated. The truce between Fubara and Wike appears fragile, with both sides now trading accusations again. My people, let us look at how Tinubu's meeting can actually resolve the Rivers crisis. Because of a truth, it is only the president that can actually solve this problem between both parties. In Nigerian power politics, impeachment only succeeds when the president looks the other way. Once Tinubu steps in directly, the impeachment process immediately loses momentum. Now, why does this matter? Security agencies take cues from the presidency. Court becomes conscious when impeachment appears politically reckless. Lawmakers loyal to Wike will rethink pushing a process that lacks federal backing. So if Tinubu tells Wike clearly that impeachment is off the table, the process effectively dies even if it has already begun procedurally. This meeting will give Tinubu opportunity to clear red lines for Wike. Because of a truth, Wike needs to know his boundaries. And the president is doing this not in public but in private, where Nigerian politics actually works. The likely red lines include 1. No impeachment of an APC governor. 2. No actions capable of triggering unrest in the Niger Delta. 3. No public conduct that projects the presidency as weak. Already, we know that Wike values access and relevance. Losing presidential confidence would weaken him more than any local political loss, and that leverage is Tinubu's strongest tool. One of the main reasons why this conflict partly thrives is because Wike behaves as if Rivers politics exist outside party discipline. So Tinubu's intervention can as well reinforce that APC governors answer to the party and the president, not former godfathers. Clarify that once Fubara joined APC, he became Tinubu's political responsibility, not Wike's project. Force APC structures in Rivers to align behind one authority. This is crucial ahead of 2027. Tinubu cannot afford a situation where ministers undermine governors openly. One angle we should not ignore in this kind of meeting is negotiated political settlement. This kind of meetings rarely end with winners and losers, so they may end with managed compromises, and the possible outcomes could be that Fubara complete his term without impeachment, that Wike retains influence over certain political structures or future succession discussions, a ceasefire agreement on public attacks and legislative warfare, quiet reshuffling or cooling off of assembly leadership tensions. Another relevance of this indoor meeting is saving face for all sides. Public humiliation would worsen the crisis, and so the meeting would allow Wike to retreat without appearing defeated, Fubara to survive without appearing protected by force, Tinubu to look decisive without escalating conflicts. This is because in Nigerian politics, face saving is conflict resolution. This meeting is also a signal to other power brokers. With this, Tinubu is sending a broader message that ministers cannot run parallel power centers. Governors cannot be destabilized arbitrarily. The presidency remains the final arbiter. This matters beyond rivers. Other states are watching closely. The bottom line is that this meeting will only work if Tinubu speaks with clarity and authority. That is, if he sets firm limits, he backs them with institutional power, and enforces party discipline. But if he appeases too much, Wike may interpret it as weakness, and the conflict will simply pause, not end. This is less about peace talk and more about who controls the political chain of command. This meeting will also help to close the information gap around Tinubu. A lot of the Rivers escalation thrives on assumptions about what the president knows or supports. Different camps act boldly because they believe Tinubu is either unaware, distracted, or indirectly sympathetic. A direct meeting collapses that fog. Once Tinubu hears unfiltered accounts and responds in real time, actors can no longer gamble based on guesswork. Nigerian political crises often escalate because people act on assumed silence from the president. This meeting ends that ambiguity. Also, the meeting allows Tinubu to quietly redefine acceptable political conduct going forward. Beyond rivers, Wike's style, confrontational rhetoric, open threats, touring local governments while serving as a minister has stretched norms. By addressing this in a private setting, Tinubu can reset expectations without public confrontation. That recalibration matters because once new boundaries are set, future actions are judged against them. Wike doesn't need to be punished immediately. He only needs to understand that the rules have changed. In essence, the meeting works not just by stopping today's crisis, but by changing the behavioral framework within which Rivers politics and elite conduct will operate from here on. As the meeting continues to hold, here are curious questions Nigerians are asking. Will Tinubu's intervention finally draw the line between federal authority and personal political ambition in Rivers State? Is this meeting the moment Wike recalculates his influence or the point where the crisis merely goes underground? Can Fubara survive politically even if impeachment is halted, or has the damage already been done? And most importantly, will this showdown redefine how much power former governors can wield over sitting ones? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you found this analysis insightful, and subscribe to Gist and Go. Do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you don't miss our next update.
It's Gist Angle.